Hey guys, this is Donald Rush with the Rush Group, and wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on in the market. I get asked all the time, what about this crazy market that we're in? And it is crazy. It's unbelievable what home prices are doing, what land prices are doing. There's a major shortage in inventory. And so just want to break a couple of those things down. I know that it's a topic of conversation for a lot of folks and some things to consider because I think people are asking themselves, wow, home prices are so high. Should I sell? But then they look to see, well, what would I buy? And they're not finding anything that really interests them. And so just going to kind of talk through why this is, what's happening, and then maybe what you can expect. While it's hard to know what's going to happen, there are some things that we can kind of think through, and maybe this will give you a better understanding as you decide if you want to make plans to do something in the future. So what's happening right now, a lot of our issue is just shortage in inventory. There aren't homes available. Inventory primarily is created by builders. Okay, so you have a lot of demand, you've got a lot of buyers that want to buy homes, but in order for someone to buy your home, you need to move to another home. Well, if the home you want to buy is occupied by an individual, well, they can't move until they find a home. And so you've had this gridlock, and that's really the situation we're in right now. I think there are people out there who want to move, but there aren't homes available for them to go to. And so what breaks that up, what unlocks that is the new home construction. And so the issue you have there is over the last year or more, lumber prices have gone just through the roof. Typically, lumber prices per thousand board foot would have been somewhere in the 400 to 500 range, and they've reached up to 1,700. So you're talking about 3 and 4 times as much for lumber. And on top of that, decking and different things like that, as far as subfloor, Advantech, and things like that. Those things have been not just higher, but difficult to find. And so you have some builders that are finding it difficult to even get supplies. Your windows are back ordered for just an exorbitant amount of time. And on top of that, home prices continue to rise. So, a builder, what they would typically do is they would take a contract for a new home. They commit to you on a price, and then they start to build that home. And in 4 or 5 months, they would have that home completed. But what's happening is supplies are harder to come by, and what they may have been able to build a product in 4 months now is going to take 6 months. And so if home prices are rising at a rate of 10%, sometimes even 15% year over year, you can imagine this builder has committed to you to build a house for, let's just say, $500,000. Now, if the price goes up annually 10%, that's $50,000. If it takes them 6 months to build it, that's $25,000. And so they've committed to you on a home at $500,000, and by the time it's completed, it's now worth $525,000. So what that does is it creates a deterrent to the builder to commit to you on a house, or to commit to too many people. And so what the builders have had to do is to slow down the number of homes that they're releasing because they're running out of inventory of lots, which is another issue. And so the builders are creating fewer homes because of the shortage in supplies, the length to build, and then they've also got to be careful about what home prices are doing. And so making sure they're not leaving money on the table. So all of this is creating an environment that is kind of locking up the supply. And because of the low supply, you're seeing prices go up. Now, another thing that's causing this high demand is people relocating. There's been a lot of migration throughout the country of people relocating from different areas and selling a home in an area where the home prices are higher, and moving to Nashville where they can pay cash for these homes. Another issue you've got going on is there are big hedge funds that have committed to buying $8 billion worth of homes, new and existing homes, and creating those into rental property. So that's another thing that's gobbling those up. You've got record low interest rates, and so that's a motivator for people to buy. And so all of these things together are creating this huge lack of supply while still a very high demand, and that's causing prices to go up. So what do you do? What I hear most often is that it can't keep going on like this forever. And I tend to agree that it can't keep going up at 15% annually. But what I think sometimes people think is that it can't keep going on like this forever means prices are going to come down. And the more likely scenario is that prices stop going up as fast. You know, in order for a market that's moving at 10% annually, and in a balanced market, we might expect home prices to go up 3 or 4% annually. In order for them to stop going up at this rate of 10%, even 15% in some areas, and to start to go down, you know, they would first have to slow down and then level off and then potentially go down. That's going to be a really hard thing to make happen, because the only thing that could create that would be either people stop wanting to buy houses, which we know the population situation is that there are more people that want houses than can get them. So you're not going to necessarily eliminate that demand unless interest rates went to a place that people couldn't afford to buy them. But what most likely that means is that they're just going to have to buy a smaller house than they would have otherwise. Or there's a huge increase of supply all of a sudden. And in order for there to be a huge increase of supply, builders would have to build a ton of homes. And builders have been, over the last many years, building as many houses as they can. And they're not even touching, or even coming close to satisfying the demand. And so it's not likely that homes in our area are going to go down. Now, sometimes you'll hear people say, oh, I saw a home come down in price just the other day. And that's true. You are seeing people reduce the price of homes. But almost in all of those scenarios, what you'll have happen is that there's this huge buzz about how high home prices are. And you're hearing people pay 10% over list price. You know, you've got a $400,000 home and people are paying 10% over that price, you know, $440,000. And that's happening a lot. And sometimes it's cash or they're guaranteeing a price over appraisal. And so what you're having happen is you have sellers that are really ambitious and really optimistic about what kind of price they can get for the home. And they go, hey, why not? Why not shoot for the moon on this? Why not throw it out there at a really high price? And so what happens is people put their homes out at an unrealistic price. Prices are at a record high. The demand is at a record high. Rates are at a record low. And so they are great. But what happens is a home that would have been high at $550,000, you see people list them for $600,000 or $650,000, maybe even $100,000 over the market when things are already too high. And that's their prerogative, and they might be able to wait on the market to, you know, they set it up here, they may be able to wait for the market to reach them. But what a lot of times happens is they're on there for a few weeks and they're getting no interest, no offers, and they say, okay, well, we started too high. And so then they lower it. And that's what you're seeing, is that people bring it back down to a realistic number, which is already a record high number. And so those are the things that are contributing to this. And if you have questions about any of these dynamics, and everyone's situation is a little bit different, in another video, I want to talk about what it looks like to actually sell your home and buy a home in this market. And then another video on what does it take to rent your home and buy another home. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I know this was a long video, a lot to cover. I hope it was helpful. If you have questions, please give me a call. Thanks, and have a great day.